When the day of the memorial fundraiser arrived, Alina felt the weight of every choice she had made pushing on her chest. But she walked forward with steady steps, refusing to let doubt slow her. The hall was full of people wearing her brand, though none of them knew it yet. They praised the designs, the fitting, the quiet elegance. Unaware, she had poured her grief, anger, and love for her mother into every stitch. Maya stood near the front, wrapped in a sleek black dress she believed came from an expensive boutique, smiling as if she owned the night. Alina kept her distance for a few moments, watching the guests mingle. Watching her sister move from table to table as if she had done all the work. She expected to feel anger rise inside her, but all she felt was tired. Tired of carrying grudges, tired of holding memories like weapons, tired of waiting for the moment to strike back. Yet she knew she couldn't walk away without confronting the truth. Because silence had already taken too much from her family. She stepped onto the stage as the host announced the reveal of the fashion sponsor. The one whose contribution had funded the entire event. A hush traveled across the room as Alina faced the crowd. Her voice calm and steady as she introduced herself not as a grieving daughter, but as the founder of Lumiere Threads. Maya's smile vanished, confusion replacing it as she struggled to process what her sister was saying. Alina didn't look at her. Instead, she spoke to everyone else, telling them how her mother used to sew clothes late into the night. How she taught Alina that every thread carried a story. How she encouraged her to create something meaningful. Alina explained how she built the brand in secret. Not because she wanted to hide, but because she wanted to prove to herself that she could stand on her own. People leaned in, captivated, feeling the honesty in her words. Some guests clapped softly. Some watched with wide eyes. Maya stood, frozen, wounded pride flickering on her face. When Alina ended her speech, the applause was warm and long, filling the room with a feeling she had not expected: acceptance. She stepped off the stage and walked straight toward Maya, who looked as if the ground beneath her had shifted. Maya tried to speak first, but the words tangled in her throat. So Alina kept moving, even though her heart pounded. The two sisters stopped in a quiet corner behind a pillar while the music began to play again. For a brief moment, they stared at each other without speaking. The tension was heavy, but there was also something else: fear, guilt, and an unspoken plea for clarity. Maya finally whispered, "Why didn't you tell me?" As if she genuinely couldn't understand why Alina had lived an entire part of her life without her knowledge. Alina took a slow breath, remembering the years of silence, the countless small wounds. The way Maya always dismissed her made her feel small, made her doubt her worth. "You never listened," she answered simply, not with anger, but with truth. Maya looked like she had been struck. She opened her mouth, closed it again, and then said in a trembling voice, "I was hurt, too. When Mom got sick, everyone expected me to act strong. I thought, if I controlled everything, it would feel less scary." She looked away, ashamed. "I wasn't trying to push you out. I was trying to protect myself." Lena had never expected to hear that. It softened her shoulders and made her chest feel heavy. For the first time, she saw Maya not as the older sister who always overshadowed her, but as someone who had also been broken by loss. Still, the pain of the past didn't simply disappear. Maya hesitated, then asked the question that had been hanging between them since the funeral. "Was this your revenge?" Her voice shook, but she wasn't angry. She sounded scared of the answer. Alina thought about the funeral moment, about Maya mocking her clothes without knowing the story behind them, about how that moment had snapped something inside her and pushed her to reveal the truth. She thought about the nights she spent planning this reveal, telling herself it was justice, but knowing deep down she also wanted Maya to feel what she had felt: small, judged, unseen. At first, yes, Alina admitted quietly. The honesty hit them both. "I wanted you to feel embarrassed. I wanted you to know that the clothes you dismissed were mine." Maya swallowed hard, forcing herself to face what she had done. "I was cruel," she said. "I didn't mean to be, but I was." Lena nodded slowly. "And I let that moment decide the rest," she said. They stood in silence again. The weight of grief pressed between them. The music in the hall faded into a distant hum, leaving only their breathing to fill the space. After a long pause, Maya whispered, "I deserve to be humbled." She looked down at her dress, the one Alina had designed, the one she had worn proudly. "But did it help you?" Elena's throat tightened. She thought about the applause, the reveal, the satisfaction of telling the truth. For a brief moment, revenge had felt sweet. But now, looking at her sister's trembling hands and regretful eyes, she felt something else: emptiness. She realized the applause hadn't healed anything. Only forgiveness or letting go could do that, not humiliation. She shook her head slowly. "No," she said. "It didn't help as much as I thought it would." Maya's eyes filled with tears. She tried to hide. "Then what now?" Alina exhaled, unsure of what to say. She didn't want revenge anymore. She also didn't want to pretend everything was fine. She wanted something in between, a path forward that didn't force either of them to deny the past. "We start small," she said, with honesty. Maya nodded. "I can do that." Her voice was quiet but sincere. Alina didn't say they were fixing everything tonight. She didn't promise forgiveness. She didn't offer a healing moment wrapped in perfect words. Instead, she stepped back and gave Maya space, which was something neither of them had given the other before. Maya wiped her eyes and whispered, "Mom would be proud of you." Alina didn't answer because she felt her own tears rising, but she appreciated the attempt. When they rejoined the crowd, people congratulated Alina again, thanking her for supporting the fundraiser. She smiled softly, feeling lighter but still learning how to carry the rest. Maya walked beside her, not in front this time. They didn't hold hands or embrace, but the space between them wasn't cold anymore. By the end of the night, when most guests had left, Maya approached her again. "I want to understand your world," she said. "Not to judge it, to be part of it." Lena studied her face, looking for signs of insincerity, but found none. She nodded slowly. "One step at a time." Maya gave a small smile. "I can do that." They walked toward the exit together, the night air cool on their skin. Outside, the sky was dark but calm, and the streetlights cast long reflections across the pavement. Alina felt a strange peace as she breathed in the night air. She realized she had come to the edge of revenge and chosen to step back. Not because Maya didn't deserve a lesson, but because Alina didn't want her life shaped by anger. As they walked toward their cars, Maya paused and said softly, "Thank you for giving me a chance." Alina nodded. "Thank you for taking it." The moment was simple but powerful. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't closure. It was something fragile and uncertain, but real. A beginning. After Maya drove away, Alina stood alone in the parking lot, thinking about her mother. She imagined her mother smiling, sewing fabric while humming, telling her that strength didn't come from hurting others, but from choosing not to. She closed her eyes, letting that thought settle in her heart. The night breeze carried away the last bit of bitterness she had been holding. She walked to her car feeling lighter than she had felt in months. The truth had been revealed. The revenge had been faced, and the choice had been made. Healing would take time, but for the first time, Alina felt like it was possible. She opened her car door, paused, and whispered into the quiet night, "I'm ready to move on." Then she drove away, leaving the old pain behind, moving toward a future she would shape with intention rather than anger. Holding on to the lesson she had learned at revenge might feel sharp for a moment, but letting go was what truly set her free. Emma felt the air shift the moment Lily walked into the dining room. It was subtle, a faint tightening, a silence that settled for a heartbeat before everyone continued talking. Lily carried herself the same way she always did. Confident steps, elegant smile, perfect posture. She greeted their aunt with polite warmth, then took her seat directly across from Emma. Her eyes flicked to Emma's dress, and Emma saw it's the familiar spark of judgment already forming behind Lily's calm expression. But Emma didn't look away this time. She sat tall, her hands steady on the table, her jaw relaxed but firm. She had spent nights preparing herself, building her courage brick by brick. She wasn't here to fight. She wasn't here to humiliate Lily. She was here to speak the truth, to finally take ownership of her life. Dinner began with light conversation. Their aunt talked about old memories, her voice drifting between laughter and soft sadness. Relatives chimed in, sharing stories about Emma's mother, her quiet strength, her warm smile, her patient nature. Emma listened with a tight chest. Every memory was a reminder of how much she missed her, and how much she wished her mother could be here now, guiding her through this tangled moment. Lily laughed at a joke from their uncle, her smile wide, but her eyes distant. Emma studied her sister quietly. Lily looked flawless, but there was something off, something small, like a crack hidden beneath the surface. Grief, maybe, or exhaustion, or something deeper that Emma had never noticed before because she had always been too busy shrinking when. Lily stood near her. The servers placed plates in front of them, and the soft clinking of cutlery filled the room. Emma tried to eat, but her appetite was thin, slipping away with every passing second. She kept rehearsing the words in her mind, but each version felt wrong, too sharp, too soft, too careful, too emotional. She wanted to speak clearly without fear. She wanted to say exactly what she needed to say without sounding like she was attacking Lily. Halfway through the meal, Lily leaned forward slightly. "Emma," she said, in a tone that carried both curiosity and the faintest trace of superiority. "You never told us where you got your dress this time. At least it's better than the one you wore to the funeral." Emma felt the comment hit her like a cold splash of water. It wasn't loud, it wasn't cruel on the surface, but it twisted sharply inside her. Even after everything, the funeral, the tension. The quiet days afterward, Leah Lee still chose to pick at her. Emma placed her fork down slowly. Her fingers trembled for just a moment before she steadied them. The room seemed to fade a little around her. Not completely silent, but dimmer, as if the world was giving her space to speak. "Lily," she said softly, "can we talk for a moment? Just us?" The table grew quiet, but no one interfered. Lily looked surprised, maybe even slightly amused. "Sure," she said. "What about—" Emma kept her voice calm. "Not here. Can we step outside for a minute?" Lily hesitated, glancing around. She didn't like being pulled away from attention, but something in Emma's eyes must have told her this wasn't optional. With a sigh, she rose from her chair and followed Emma out into the small balcony overlooking the quiet street. The evening air was cool and still. A few streetlights glowed below, casting orange shadows on the pavement. Emma stood near the railing, trying to breathe, trying to steady the storm inside her. Lily crossed her arms, waiting. "What is this about?" Lily asked. "You're acting strange." Emma turned to face her. "I need to tell you something important." Lily rolled her eyes slightly. "If this is about the dress thing again, Emma, I was just being honest." I don't mean everything. It's not about that dress," Emma said, her voice suddenly sharp enough to make Lily stop talking. "This is bigger, and I need you to listen." Lily blinked, thrown off by the firmness in Emma's tone. For the first time in a long time, Emma saw uncertainty in her sister's face. Emma steadied herself. Her heart thudded painfully, but she kept going. "There's something I've been hiding for years, and I'm done hiding it." Lily frowned. "Hiding what?" Emma swallowed, her voice low but clear. "The brand you love so much, the one you follow online, the one you buy from, the one you talk about all the time. I created it. Every design, every collection, every idea. I'm the founder." The words hung in the air like a shockwave. Lily stared at her, frozen mouth slightly open. Her face lost its confident shape. For a moment, she seemed unable to breathe. "That's not funny," Lily finally whispered. "Emma, why would you say something like that?" "Because it's true," Emma said. "I've been working on it for years. I kept my name off the public records. I let someone else be the face of it. But everything you admire about the brand, the simplicity, the detail, the fabric, the shapes, that's me. I created all of it." Lily stepped back a little, as if the truth was physically pushing her. Her expression shifted quickly: confusion, denial, realization, embarrassment. Her voice cracked slightly. "But you never said, you've never showed, you never asked," Emma said quietly. Every time I tried to talk about things I loved, you dismissed me. Every time I created something, you mocked it. So I learned to keep my world separate. I built my success alone because I didn't want your judgment on it." Lily's breath shuddered. She looked away, eyes unfocused. "I didn't know," she whispered. "I really didn't know." "I know," Emma said. "But that doesn't change the way you talk to me. Even at Mom's funeral, you chose to mock me. Not knowing the dress you insulted was my own creation." Lily winced as if the memory burned. "I shouldn't have said that," she murmured. I was upset. I wasn't thinking. You know how emotional I was." Emma shook her head gently. "Lily, you've been doing this long before the funeral. For years, you've made me feel small. You've talked over me, judged me, acted like I'm less than you. You don't even realize how much your words hurt because you never stop to think how they land." Lily's face shifted again, cracking open. She touched her forehead, pacing slightly on the balcony. "I didn't mean to make you feel that way," she said, her voice suddenly softer. I don't know. I guess I always thought you were. Not interested in doing much." Emma held her stare. Not interested or not allowed? There's a difference. A heavy silence fell between them. Lily leaned against the railing, her shoulders slumped. The arrogance that normally sat proudly on her face was gone. In its place was something more: human fear, regret, confusion. "Emma," she said quietly, "why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you trust me with this?" Emma hesitated before answering. "Because you never saw me as someone worth knowing." The words hit Lily hard. She covered her mouth for a moment, swallowing thick emotion. When she spoke, her voice cracked. "I'm sorry." Emma didn't speak. She let the apology settle, but she didn't let it fix everything. Some wounds weren't healed with a single phrase. Lily continued in a small voice. "I was jealous of you when we were kids, you know? Mom always said you had this calm talent, this quiet creativity. I think I pushed you down so I didn't feel like I was falling behind." Emma felt her breath catch. She had never expected a confession from Lily. Not like this. Not raw. Not honest, but she didn't let herself soften too quickly. "Jealousy isn't a good excuse for the way you treated me," Emma said carefully. "But I'm glad you're finally saying it." Lily nodded slowly. "I know I messed up, and I don't know how to fix all of it, but I'll try, if you let me." Emma looked out at the quiet street below. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing on her. She had imagined confronting Lily so many times. She had pictured shouting or walking away victorious, or breaking down in tears. But standing here now, she didn't feel victorious. She felt tired. She felt relieved. She felt uncertain, but she didn't regret telling the truth. She turned back to Lily. "I don't want revenge. I don't want you to feel the way you made me feel. I just want you to see me. Really see me." Lily wiped her eyes quickly. "I do now. I swear I do." Emma nodded once, accepting the words without fully trusting them yet. Trust would take time. Healing would take even longer. But tonight, she had taken back her voice. She had stepped out of the shadow she had allowed Lily to place her in. She had revealed the truth not to hurt Lily, but to free herself. And for the first time in a long time, she felt her mother's strength inside her, not a whisper, but a steady flame. Emma took a deep breath. "Let's go back inside." Lily nodded, still shaken, dots side by side, but not the same as before they walked back into the warm dining room, where the world waited to continue, but Emma knew the real change had already happened. Emma locked herself in her small apartment the day after the funeral, letting silence fill the rooms like thick smoke. She didn't turn on the lights. She didn't open the curtains. She simply sat on the couch with her knees pulled close, her thoughts racing faster than she could follow. The memory of Lily's voice kept replaying in her mind, sharp, cold, and careless. Even in the middle of grief, Lily had chosen cruelty. That cruelty had dug deep into Emma's chest, stirring old wounds that she had tried to bury for years. She stared at her hands, remembering the long nights she spent sewing, designing, and dreaming. Her brand had been her escape, her shield, her secret world where she didn't need anyone's approval. She had worked in silence because silence had always protected her. Growing up, whenever she tried to speak, Lily would interrupt. Whenever she tried to show her drawings, Lily would laugh. It became easier to hide her talent than to defend it. So Emma learned to move quietly, to achieve quietly, to build quietly. But now that quiet life felt like a trap. Emma stood up quickly, pacing across the room with fast, restless steps. She felt the pressure inside her building like a storm trapped beneath her ribs. Her laptop waited on the table, closed but heavy with meaning. She knew that inside it was everything she had worked for at Dines. Contracts, sales reports, brand identity plans, all the proof of her hard work. She opened the laptop with a quick motion, the screen glowing in the darkroom. The brand's homepage stared back at her. Soft colors, clean shapes, elegant lines. Everything about it was her. She scrolled through the product section, her eyes running over each dress, each piece of fabric she had once chosen with care. These designs filled magazines, social media feeds, and fashion shows. Lily obsessed over the brand. She followed every update, every new release, every limited collection, and she had mocked Emma's dress without. Knowing she was insulting the creator, Emma felt something twist inside her. She wasn't angry, anger was too simple. She felt something deeper, heavier, a mix of hurt and rising strength. She ran a finger over the photo of her black funeral dress. It was in the catalog months ago. It had sold out within hours. Lily had no idea. She was mocking a bestseller. Emma closed the screen and pressed her palm against her forehead. She needed to breathe, but each breath felt thin. The thought of confronting Lily filled her with both fear and desire. Lily had always held the power between them, pushing Emma into the background. But now Emma held something that could shake Lily's perfect world. She could tell her, show her, expose the truth. It would crush Lily's pride, humble her, force her to see Emma not as the quiet, weaker sister, but as someone she had underestimated for years. Emma imagined the moment Lily's shocked face, her mouth partly open, her hands shaking in disbelief. She imagined the silence that would follow, the realization sinking into Lily's heart. The thought gave Emma a strange sense of satisfaction, one that rose quickly inside her. But then another thought crept in. What if this wasn't revenge? What if this was the moment she finally stood up for herself? Was she overthinking it? Was this justice or anger? Emma felt torn between the two. She remembered her mother's soft voice, telling her over and over, don't let people steal your kindness, Emma, but don't let silence steal your worth. She had been silent for too long. Emma sat down again, trying to slow her racing mind. She opened a drawer and pulled out a small box. Inside were sketches from her teenage years, drawings that Lily had once called childish. Emma held the papers, looking at each rough design with new eyes. She realized something she had never admitted before. She had been scared of Lily, scared of her laughter, her comments, her judgment. That fear had shaped her life. And now that fear was cracking. Emma stood again and walked to the mirror. Her reflection looked tired, with dark circles under her eyes, hair a little messy, skin pale. But in her eyes something new had appeared. Fire, focus, determination. She touched her reflection lightly, almost surprised at the change. She whispered to herself, it's time. The next few days passed quickly, each moment heavy with thought. Emma didn't talk to Lily, though Lily sent one short message asking if Emma was okay after that awkward dress choice. Emma didn't reply. She didn't trust herself to stay calm. Instead, she buried herself in work. She met with suppliers online, approved fabric samples, adjusted new designs. Every decision she made reminded her of her talent, her strength, her identity. For once, she felt proud of herself. But the hurt didn't disappear. Late at night, she lay in bed staring at the ceiling. She replayed the funeral over and over, the rain, the grave, the prayers, Lily's mocking voice. The pain ran deep, mixing with years of quiet resentment. She wondered if Lily ever realized how much her words mattered, how deeply they cut. Probably not. Lily lived inside her own bubble, always assuming she was right. Emma wondered if Lily even remembered the things she said or if they were just casual comments to her. Part of Emma wanted Lily to feel that pain, to feel what it was like to be dismissed, to feel small. But another part resisted the idea. Remembering the weight of cruelty and how it lingered long after the moment passed, Emma sat up and opened her laptop again. She scrolled through photos of her brand's fashion show, the one she attended anonymously. Watching her own designs glide down the runway worn by models who didn't know her face, she remembered standing at the back, her heart pounding with pride. She wanted to live in that moment again without Lily's shadow covering her. She needed closure, but she didn't know what form it should take. One evening, Emma received a call from her aunt inviting her and Lily to a dinner to remember their mother. Emma hesitated. The idea of seeing Lily again made her chest tighten. But it also felt like an opportunity. A moment she could choose how to use. The decision formed slowly inside. She would go, but not to seek revenge. She would go to speak the truth, to claim her identity, to break the silence that had trapped her since childhood. If Lily felt hurt, it would be because of her own actions, not Emma's cruelty. Emma didn't want to become someone who hurt others just because she was hurt. She wanted to be someone who finally stood on her own feet. The day of the dinner arrived. Emma dressed carefully, choosing another simple piece from her collection. Nothing dramatic. Nothing flashy, but quietly powerful. She tied her hair back and took a deep breath before leaving her apartment. On the drive there, her mind ran in circles. Her heart pounded, palms damp on the steering wheel. She wasn't used to confronting people, especially not Lily. But she was done being silent, done letting old patterns control her. She arrived early and waited outside the restaurant for a moment. Watching the lights from inside flicker across the windows, she remembered how many times Lily had humiliated her in small ways, laughing at her clothes, ignoring her opinions, brushing off her achievements. Each memory added another layer of strength to her resolve. Inside, she greeted her aunt with a soft smile. The room was warm and filled with gentle chatter. She took her seat and waited, her heart beating with heavy anticipation. A few minutes later, Lily entered wearing another designer dress from Emma's brand, one of the most expensive pieces. Emma felt a twist in her stomach. Lily didn't even realize she was wrapped in Emma's work. Lily smiled politely at everyone, then took her seat across from Emma. She glanced at Emma's dress with a raised eyebrow, already preparing a comment. Emma saw it forming in her eyes, but this time she wasn't afraid. She didn't drop her gaze. She didn't shrink. She simply looked back with calm, controlled eyes. Lily hesitated, surprised by Emma's steady expression. For the first time in years, Emma felt equal. The night continued slowly, soft conversations filling the space. Emma felt the tension building the way pressure builds before a storm. She could sense the moment coming, the moment she had imagined so many times. A moment of truth she could no longer avoid. Before the dinner ended, before the night slipped away, she would tell Lily everything. Emma stood under the gray sky, watching the rain fall in thin lines over the cemetery. The world felt quiet, too quiet, as if it was holding its breath. Her mother's coffin rested in the ground, half covered with soil, and people around her kept whispering soft prayers. Emma kept her eyes low, her hands tight around each other. She didn't cry. She had cried all night, and now the tears were gone, replaced by a strange stillness that held tightly to her chest. But even in that heavy moment, even as grief pressed against her ribs, she felt someone staring at her. She didn't need to turn to know who it was. Her older sister, Lily, stood a few steps away, her arms crossed, her chin lifted in its usual confident angle. Lily always held herself like the world owed her attention. Even at their mother's funeral, she wore a perfectly styled black dress, hair in loose waves, makeup calm and flawless as if she had practiced it for days. Emma felt the tension before she heard the words. It began with a small sigh from Lily, loud enough to draw a few curious glances. Then, as the final prayer ended, Lily leaned closer, not bothering to lower her voice completely. "Really, Emma?" she whispered sharply. "You couldn't find anything better to wear. This is Mom's funeral, not a casual day out." The words cut deeper than the cold rain. Emma kept her face still, but the sting pulsed inside her. She glanced at her dress, a simple black piece with clean seams, smooth fabric, and a soft shape that fell gently around her figure. Nothing loud, nothing sloppy. It was her own design, one she had worked on for months. A dress that came from her brand, the brand she had built with her own hands. But Lily didn't know. No one did. Lily didn't stop there. She folded her arms and tilted her head in that way she did when she wanted everyone to notice her disapproval. "Mom always said you never understood style," she said quietly, though her voice held a cruel edge. "I guess she was right." Emma felt her heart twist. She stared at the ground, forcing herself not to speak. The rain grew heavier, small drops bouncing off the dark surface of her dress. She should have been mourning her mother, focusing on memories, on love, on loss. But Lily's words hovered around her, sharp and cold, echoing louder than the prayers. A few relatives glanced at Emma with sympathy, unsure if they should step in or walk away. Lily acted as if she didn't notice the attention. She never did. She behaved as though her voice mattered more than anyone else's, especially Emma's. When the service ended, people began to drift away, walking through the soft mud, umbrellas opening one by one. Emma remained still, staring at the covered grave. She felt heavy, as if her feet were rooted to the ground. Her mother's death had already shaken her world. Lily's comments made the cracks inside her spread wider. As she stood there, Lily walked past her again, tossing another jab like it was nothing. "You should really think more about how you present yourself," she said. "Mom deserved better." Emma didn't move. She didn't lift her head, but something inside her shifted, slow and sharp, like a blade sliding free. She watched the back of Lily's perfectly styled hair disappear into the crowd. A part of her wanted to shout, to tell Lily that she had no right to speak about their mother that way. Not today, not like this. But Emma stayed silent, letting the storm inside her grow. For years, she had lived in Lily's shadow. Lily, the confident one. Lily, the stylish one. Lily, the sister everyone praised. Emma had always been the quiet one, the one who stayed out of the spotlight, the one who worked behind the scenes without asking for credit. She had started her fashion brand in secret, pouring her soul into every design, every stitch, every plan. She wanted her work to speak for itself. She didn't want to fight for attention, but now she wondered if staying silent had been a mistake. Silence had given Lily room to walk over her again and again, to speak for her, to define her. And today, Lily had chosen to humiliate her during one of the most painful moments of her life. Emma lifted her eyes. The cemetery was almost empty now. The rain softened, turning into a mist that clung to everything like a fragile veil. She took a deep breath, feeling the cold air push into her lungs. Her dress didn't cling to the rain. The fabric resisted water because she had designed it that way: durable, elegant, simple. It was something she was proud of, something she had created long before her brand became popular, something she had poured her quiet strength into. Lily had mocked the very thing Emma had built from nothing. Emma stepped away from the grave slowly. She didn't hurry to catch up with the others. She walked alone, letting the rain wash over her thoughts. A silent vow formed inside her, a vow she hadn't expected to feel so clearly. Lily thought she knew everything. She thought she was the successful one, the stylish one, the one who made the rules, but she didn't know the truth. She didn't know the brand she admired was Emma's. She didn't know that the dresses she bragged about owning came from her sister's hands. She didn't know that the world she chased was built by the sister she belittled. Emma tightened her jaw. Lily would learn, not through shouting, not through tears, not through anger thrown carelessly like a weapon, but through truth. Cold, undeniable truth. Emma reached the parking lot, opening her car door slowly. Her mind raced with memories, years of being ignored, of being dismissed, of letting Lily shine while she stayed silent. She thought of the nights she stayed awake working, the sacrifices she made, the dreams she chased without applause. She sat in the driver's seat, rain tapping on the roof like a quiet drum. She gripped the steering wheel and closed her eyes. Her mother once told her, "Strength isn't loud, Emma. Real strength speaks when it needs to." For the first time in years, Emma felt that strength rise inside her. Lily had crossed a line. She didn't even see Dot, and Emma was done stepping back. Her heart still ached from loss. But something new pushed forward focus. Purpose, sharp enough to overcome the pain. She didn't know exactly how she would reveal the truth or when she would confront Lily. But she knew one thing. She would not let this moment fade away. She would not let Lily's cruelty be forgotten. She would choose the time, the place, the way, but Lily's days of stepping on her without consequence were over. Emma wiped a tear that finally escaped, though she didn't know if it came from grief or determination. She started the engine, the soft hum filling the car.